There is something almost magical about watching tension move through a room like it's contagious, especially in a sitcom like Three's Company, where one raised eyebrow can infect three people in under 5 seconds. That's really the heart of the episode I want to talk about today, because it's built around one of the show's favorite engines of comedy. How tension doesn't just exist inside one character. It spreads, multiplies, and suddenly everybody is sweating over something that started as nothing. The situation in this episode revolves around a dinner invitation. Simple, harmless, has invited her boss over for dinner, hopping to make a good impression. It's not romantic, it's not scandalous, it's just professional. She wants to look mature, capable, organized. That alone already sets the stage, because Three's Company loves when someone tries to look impressive. That's when the universe usually says, "Oh, really? Let's see about that." Jack overhears the word boss and immediately tenses. Not because he's done anything wrong, but because he imagines all the ways this could go wrong. What if the boss thinks the apartment is too messy? What if he questions why two women are living with a man? What if he suspects something inappropriate? Remember, Jack's entire living arrangement depends on maintaining the illusion that he's not romantically interested in women. It's a delicate house of cards. Calm as ever assures him it's fine. She says her boss is modern, open-minded. On the other hand, gasps like a thunderstorm is approaching. She imagines interrogation. She imagines judgment. She imagines dramatic music playing in the background. And just like that, tension is born. What makes this so funny is that nobody has actually done anything yet. There's no real conflict. But Jack starts packing. He adjusts the couch cushions unnecessarily. He straightens magazines that are already straight. He's reacting to a future problem that hasn't happened. John's physical comedy shines here. His movements get slightly too sharp. He tries to appear casual but ends up looking like a man pretending not to panic while clearly panicking. He sits down, pops back up, then pretends he forgot something in the kitchen. Notices. She tells him to relax. But telling Jack to relax is like telling a smoke alarm to calm down. It only makes the beeping louder. Feeds into it unintentionally. She asks what they'll say if the boss asks about their arrangement. The word arrangement hangs in the air like it's radioactive. Jack freezes mid-step, sighs, covers her mouth like she just revealed a state secret. Now the tension is shared. Nobody is reasoning through the situation anymore. They're reacting to each other's reactions. Jack assumes suspicion where none exists, gets defensive because she feels he's undermining her professionalism, starts offering wildly unnecessary solutions, like pretending Jack is a distant cousin visiting temporarily. The more they talk, the worse it gets. This is classic Three's Company. The misunderstanding doesn't even require an outside antagonist. The characters generate the pressure themselves. And that's one reason the show became so popular in the late 70s and early 80s. It captured that nervous social energy of young adults trying to navigate appearances. Living with roommates was becoming more common. Workplace hierarchies were shifting. There was this ongoing fear of being judged for unconventional living arrangements. So when a boss walks into that environment, it feels like an exam. As dinner approaches, the tension escalates. Jack insists on cooking to prove he's useful, hesitates but agrees, volunteers to help but mostly ends up creating tiny distractions, like tasting sauces at the wrong moment or misplacing utensils. Jack, determined to look composed, keeps rehearsing possible conversations in his head. You can see it in his face. He'll start a sentence out loud, then stop halfway, realizing it sounds strange. He corrects himself, then corrects the correction. His confidence shrinks with every attempt to sound natural. This is where timing becomes everything. There's a scene where he practices greeting the boss. He shakes an imaginary hand, bows slightly, then decides bowing is too much. He switches to a firm handshake gesture, then worries that firm might seem aggressive. He stands there mid-motion, frozen between two possible personalities. Walks in and catches him mid-pose. She just stares. That silent stare lasts a beat longer than expected. That's the laugh. That pause where nobody speaks and the audience realizes how far he's spiraled. Then the boss arrives. At first, everything is perfectly normal. Polite smiles, pleasant small talk. The boss compliments the apartment, relaxes slightly. Jack smiles too hard, nods enthusiastically at everything. But tension is like a spark looking for gasoline. The boss casually asks how long they've all been living together. It's an innocent question, a normal question. But Jack answers too quickly. He gives a number, then immediately amends it, then adds unnecessary details about schedules and hobbies, jumps in to clarify, adds something unrelated about grocery shopping. Now the boss looks mildly confused. The confusion triggers more tension. Jack notices the boss's slight head tilt. He interprets it as suspicion. He again emphasizing how respectful and harmonious everything is. He gestures widely, nearly knocking over a glass in the process. That physical stumble is important. Three's Company doesn't rely only on verbal misunderstanding. It uses bodies. Jack catches the glass at the last second, forcing a laugh that's just a bit too loud. The boss politely chuckles. Feels embarrassed. She tightens her posture, tries to smooth things over with cheerful chatter that accidentally introduces new complications. The dinner becomes a relay race of nervous energy. Mr., of course, chooses this exact moment to knock on the door. Because why wouldn't he? He's the catalyst character, the landlord who never quite reads the room correctly but always amplifies it. He strolls in dramatically, scarf perfectly arranged, greeting everyone like he's hosting a gala. He makes a grand comment about the cozy little trio, which sends Jack into internal alarm mode. Now tension isn't just shared inside the apartment. It's bouncing between 5 people. The boss senses something odd, senses something dramatic. Jack senses everything. Nobody is thinking clearly anymore. They're reacting to tones, glances, sighs. The original goal, to have a pleasant dinner, has evaporated. There's a brilliant sequence where Jack tries to intercept mid-sentence to prevent him from saying something that might sound suggestive. Jack laughs over him, raises his voice to be heard, tries to redirect the conversation, gasps at a harmless comment because she assumes it has a hidden meaning. It becomes a symphony of overreactions. And this is where the episode shines in demonstrating how tension becomes communal. One person's anxiety infects the group. The boss begins sweating slightly, even though he walked in completely calm. He starts speaking more cautiously, unsure why the room feels so charged. The irony is beautiful. No one has accused anyone of anything. No scandal exists. But because everyone is trying so hard to appear normal, they appear suspicious. Eventually, the tension reaches a peak when the boss jokingly remarks that they all seem a little on edge. That line lands like a gong. Jack freezes, forces a smile, laughs nervously, looks delighted at the drama he assumes is brewing. And then slowly does something radical. She stops reacting. She calmly explains that they were nervous about making a good impression. She says it plainly without theatrics. The room exhales. The boss laughs genuinely. He admits he was nervous too, meeting employees in their personal spaces. Shrugs, suddenly bored without conflict. It's such a simple resolution. Honesty, calmness, a pause long enough for reasoning to return. But the journey to get there is what makes it funny. Three's Company worked so well in its era because it understood something fundamental about social life. We don't panic alone. We panic together. We amplify each other's fears. We mirror anxiety. And Jack Tripper at the center of it all is the emotional barometer. His fear of misinterpretation drives the chaos. He's not malicious. He's insecure. He wants to protect the illusion that keeps his living situation intact. So he overreacts, and that overreaction becomes the spark. It provides structure, provides emotional volume, provides external pressure. The combination is explosive. Even today, watching this episode feels fresh because nothing about it depends on outdated references. The hairstyles may scream another decade, but the emotional mechanics are universal. Who hasn't felt a room grow tense because one person started? Who hasn't laughed nervously and made things worse? The brilliance of the show is that it doesn't punish the characters for their anxiety. It lets them reset. The tension dissolves, the laughter lingers. And that's why people still rewatch Three's Company. It's not just nostalgia, it's recognition. We see ourselves in those moments when we try too hard, when we misread glances, when we let tension spread instead of stopping it. So if you revisit this episode, pay attention to how quickly the energy shifts. Notice how a simple question about living arrangements becomes a shared storm. Watch Jack's shoulders tighten. Watch his eyes narrow slightly. Watch enthusiasm spike at the wrong moments. It's not the misunderstanding itself that's hilarious. It's the way everyone reacts to the possibility of misunderstanding. And honestly, that's such a human thing. If you've ever been at a dinner where nobody knows why it suddenly feels awkward, you'll probably laugh a little harder at this one. And if you've never watched Three's Company before, this is a perfect example of why it became such a staple of American television. It understood that tension isn't static, it spreads. And sometimes, the funniest thing in the world is watching a room realize they were all nervous for nothing.